Hello, internet. Yes, yes, yes. Hello, hello. Actually, I kind of went back to the webcam because today we are going to have another Baumi, not quite daily. So, just like 2 days ago, I watched Honcast like I do every day. I love Honcast. A big fan. I'm a big, big fan. Anyways, and I saw TT Esports play. I don't quite know against who anymore. I kind of forgot. But Sl not Slicks, Riser played an amazing Warbeast, amazing. And I kind of wanted to show you what he did do well and how he did do that, because I feel like that's very interesting. But before we get into that, I have to tell you about something. So I have been reading Game of Thrones, like these books, Game of Thrones, A Song of Fire and Ice, or The Song of Fire and Ice, and this is book 3. And I hate that one. Like, the first two were amazing. And it's not bad. It's just, why? Why would you stop with the most interesting storyline and only keep on going with all the others? Like, there are, at the moment in this book, there are three interesting storylines. And they stopped with 2 and focused on only, the author, so he stopped with 2 and only focuses on a single one in this book, and it's so annoying. I wanna know what happens. So that's why the third book of Game of Thrones is kind of terrible. But oh, I think I didn't add Heroes of New Earth in here. No, I didn't. So that's professional. Give me a second. Here we go. So yeah, let's go right into this, shall we? So as we can see here, it's TT Esports versus 2XX. I really don't know. We can look up their name if we want to. So let's just look up Kiddo. MUFC TT Esports as well. Huh? That's interesting. Anyway, so that's not even the point. The point of this game is we're gonna take a look at how Riser plays Warbeast. And unlike a regular shoutcast, this time around we are not going to even take a single look at the other lanes. We are going to completely ignore what happens in this game that's not related to Warbeast, which is why we are going into Warbeast Vision. And this is where we are going to stay for at least the early parts of the game, because nothing that happens in this game is in any way interesting to us. Now, this is right off the start, this is nice, using the wolves to scout out the lanes. That's what he's going for. He wants to maybe try and spot someone, maybe try and guess where they are, and as soon as he kind of, here we go, he spots a Glacius, and now they know, yep, Glacius is gonna be at the bottom lane, so it's probably Emerald Warden as well. Glacius, Emerald Warden at the bottom lane. So that's great to know. But yeah, so just using the wolves to scout. This is really, really good. Now, it's gonna get interesting pretty soon as well. He, by the way, he spawns new ones and sends them out to scout even more. Because right now, really, there isn't a whole lot for him to do. Like, the other heroes can go and ward and move around and maybe position themselves. He really can't do that because he needs to stay in the well till around the 20 seconds mark. Now, why does he have to do that? Because there's a good reason for why you should do that. If you are playing Warbeast, you want to, or Keeper of the Forest for that matter, Vox as well, you want to stay in the well, spawn your minions there, and then run to the camps. As you can see him do right here. Yeah, he spawns the minions, and it's gonna go right now. So around the like 15-second mark or something, you want to get going. And I think he's even a little bit late, so maybe the 10-second mark. Anyways, you want to get going, so you arrive at the easy camp pretty early on and can start taking that out. Now, Horse. Let's take a look at his items. He got himself Runes of the Blight, 2 mana potions, Logos Hatchet, and a Ring of Protection? A Guardian Ring. So, he's definitely gonna go for early Ring of the Teacher, and there really isn't a whole lot to say about that. I just want you to keep this item build in mind, because it's what works best. It really, really does. It's amazing. I go for it myself. It's better than anything you could possibly get otherwise. So, yeah. Now, something nice, as you can see, he pulled the creeps out of the camp and killed them there. It didn't matter right here, because the Snowburn were too close, but you're gonna see that come into play later on. And we're gonna talk about it in detail as soon as it comes into play. But here we go, Primal Rage skilled. Now, this is kind of a iffy situation, because a lot of players argue that Battle Cry gives you more, like it gives you more damage. I personally don't think so. It's just Battle Cry also costs a lot more mana. It's far easier to jungle without it, and yeah, you just put yourself in a better situation if you jungle without getting Battle Cry and instead go for Primal Rage. Our players argue that you should get only 2 points into Wolves and then go for a different go for the other 2 abilities, which I myself am not a big fan of either. So I wouldn't advise that. The argument behind that is if you get 2 points into Wolves, they get their crit ability, and if you get Battle Cry afterwards, you're gonna deal a lot more damage than you otherwise would. I really am not a big fan of that. Anyway, so here we go. He's jungling. Nothing really special going on, but he is just kind of moving forward. If you take a look at the courier, he already finished his Ring of the Teacher, and the Ring of the Teacher is actually a big deal because it allows for a lot easier jungling. It's just the armor. Now, a lot of players don't realize just how big of a deal armor is. But you just have to trust me on this one. I don't have any data to back it up, and I can't prove it to you. I bet there's someone out there that can, but I can't. So you're just gonna have to trust me on this. But armor is a big deal. If you reach around 2k HP, there really is no point in getting any more life. You really have to invest in armor at that point. And just keep that in mind to realize how big of a deal armor is. Now this is also something nice, and you're gonna see him do this very often. He uses only one wolf to jungle by going up against a camp with a creep that has an ability, like a Vagabond Dealer, a Catman, a Minotaur. Why? Simply because these minions use the ability once 3 enemy units are in reach. They don't use it if there are less, and they use it instantly once there are 3 or more. You have to keep that in mind. That's actually pretty important. And by the way, he uses the wolves to, maybe scout the room. I don't quite know what he could have done, but maybe deny the room if needed. But yeah, he really didn't have a whole lot to do at that point, just waiting for the new camps to spawn. But here we go, he's gonna go for the Trinket of Restoration and rush the Abyssal Skull, which is a pretty standard build on Warbeast. It's, really, the item build on Warbeast is nothing special. But as you can see at this point, yet again, he uses only one wolf to jungle this camp. He's gonna take out the Catman champion, and once he does, by the way, he's gonna probably fall back with this one. No, he doesn't. No. But once he kills it, he calls in the second one to have him take out that camp. And that's just to kind of stop the creeps from putting on damage on the hero, because he really doesn't have a whole lot of regeneration, and Warbeast, unlike other junglers, he really needs to tank at some points. Like Keep of the Frost, yeah, sometimes as well, but the others, Ophelia, Tempest, Parasite, they don't have to tank ever. Warbeast, on the other hand, he kind of has. At some points, if his minions are really low, he kind of should tank and help them out, just a little bit. Now, something to note about creep camps. is if you kill them before the 38-second mark, they are gonna respawn because the corpses are gonna despawn, and once the corpses are gone, a new creep camp can spawn. But they can't spawn if there are still corpses left in the area, or units for that matter. And here we go. This is kind of not the best play, but it's not a big deal. Let's just put it that way. He's gonna take out that camp, move over here, take out that one, and this one is gonna spawn. As you, okay, it didn't. Why didn't it spawn? It should have spawned. I feel trolled. Oh well, I guess it didn't want to.
Very well.
But yeah, probably the courier. Probably no. It did spawn? Oh my god, I'm not in spectator vision. Sorry for that, that was entirely my fault. I was confused by that, I wasn't in the spectator vision, so I don't see the creeps. I only see what Warbeast sees. And yeah, Warbeast didn't see the camp. But as you can see, it did spawn, so I didn't tell you bullshit. By the way, this is really nice. He's gonna go ahead of the Pyromancer right here. And just take a look at that damage. Warbeast is ridiculous. I love that hero. He's amazing. And he just got himself the... yeah, Abyssal Skull. He just finished it. And that's gonna allow him to jungle for quite an infinite amount of time. Except for the fact that he's gonna run low on mana. So he's gonna have to invest into mana potions from time to time. Now, talking about mana. You guys know that I hate Blood Chillers with a passion. I think it's one of the worst items in the entire game. And I hate to see players pick it up for absolutely no fucking reason. If you take a look at pub games, every single idiot picks up the item. Why? By the way, he's gonna pull the creeps outside of the camp and take him out over here so they can't spawn again. That's the sole reason why he's doing this. I think he killed her too close. I don't know. Yeah, I think that one died too close to the camp, so he's not gonna care anymore. But that's what he was trying to do. Kind of failed. It's pretty difficult because the creeps kind of act like crazy. Yeah, they aren't really that willing to compromise in dying where they are supposed to die. So anyways, Blood Chalice I always consider to be just a terrible item. Because it's in every single guide, which is why every idiot buys Blood Chalice. And the reason why it's in every guide is simply because during the time the guides were released and most of the guides were written, Blood Chalice was the best item in the game. They nerfed it heavily and it now is barely viable. But, just to point this out, I personally think Blood Chalice is a good item on Warbeast after you finish the Abyssal Skull, because it's gonna allow you to actually jungle infinitely. It's gonna allow you to spawn the Bullfist as often as you want to, and additionally also gonna allow you to use your ultimate. It pretty much gives you infinite mana, and since you got Abyssal Skull and aren't really taking a whole lot of damage as soon as you got that, because your creeps are actually capable of tanking these jungle creeps, because of the lifesteal, it helps them out a lot, as you can see right here. You're not gonna be in any like danger at all, ever. So I kind of feel like Blood Chalice isn't a bad choice by any means. But here we go, we're gonna see a push coming out, and this is nice. Now he finished this Abyssal Skull, he's gonna get himself boots, and I think yes, the mystic, no, what's it called, apprentice rope, and start pushing. Now at this point a lot of Warbeast players just sit in the jungle, and they keep on sitting in the jungle, which is bad, because Warbeast is very similar to Keeper of the Forest. A lot of players don't realize it. Keeper of the Forest is... They kind of are similar in terms of pushing, because... by the way, I don't quite know what this Pyromancer is doing right here. He's gonna... yeah, they're gonna take out a Luna. But the nice thing about Keeper of the Forest is pushing potential, of course, because with the minions he can take out towers like it's nothing. Warbeast, on the other hand, he can do that as well, because his minions are kind of similar to Keeper's minions. His minions are probably twice as powerful, but they are only 2. Keepers are 4 or 5. So yes, that's gonna allow him to push quite easily, especially if you got the early Abyssal Skull. That's great. You're gonna be able to push like it's no problem whatsoever. And you really want to do it. But at this point, as you can see, he's running out of mana. Which is where a Blood Chest would be handy. But the thing is, Blood Chest is kind of expensive, so you really don't have to get it. And this is also nice. Swapping the Steam Boots around to get the intelligence. And which gives him more mana. And he can use that mana to spawn more wolves. Which is useful. And here we go. Nice stacking yet again. Every single time you're close to a creep camp around the 50-second mark, stack. Don't kill it, stack it. Okay? That's not only a Warbeast thing, that's a general rule. And you should live and play like that. So yeah, just say. But yeah, Bloodshed is not the worst item on Warbeast. In my opinion, it's actually pretty decent. But you don't have to pick it up. Mana potions help you out a lot as well. And I was talking about the Steam Boots with the intelligence bonus. If you swap them around, you're gonna have the same percentage in mana as you had before. And because of that, it's gonna increase your mana. Like, you're gonna have more mana if you switch then to intelligence. It's percentage based. It's gonna allow you to spawn your wolves more often if you do it well. But as you can see, he's still running low on mana. And mostly because the thing is, he won't be able to use his ultimate if needed. Which is the one downside to the way he's playing right here. But he picks up the Homecoming Stone, gets himself to mana potions, so that's gonna pretty much yeah, help with the mana problems. And is also going for Bulwark. Now, this is an interesting question. A lot of Warbeast players usually go for either Shrunken Head, Sheepbreaker, something along these lines. Maybe even Incendiarius, which I think is the best item in the game. I actually think it's a great item. Incendiarius is completely and utterly underrated. By the way, teamfight. But that's not... It's not that important, especially since he isn't doing a whole lot. But teamfights are gonna get interesting later on. Mostly to prove a point. But the thing is, most Warbeast players like to go for more of a solo style build, where they kind of just pimp up the hero and go for a carry style. Now, as I already mentioned, Warbeast is a great pusher. I consider him to be a pusher on the level of Keeper of the Forest. And even though he doesn't have the like AoE teamfight potential, he has the single target teamfight potential. And yeah, he's a different. Well, that's not the point. That Warbeast can push like a madman because of the wolves, because of the battle cry. It allows him to push like crazy. It's amazing. So the Bulwark is gonna help out with that, and which is why I like the pickup. Yeah, I think it's great. It's more of a push style though. So you have to keep that in mind. If you're gonna get a Bulwark, you're not gonna sit in the jungle and you're not gonna teamfight. You're gonna mainly push. That's what your focus is going to be. And you're gonna see that later in the game, where he tries to teamfight and it just kind of doesn't work out as well as he wanted it to. Because he gets stun locked and drops really low. He doesn't die, but he is kind of in a little bit of trouble. And the Shrunken Head would have come in handy. And yeah, so at this point you kind of have to make the choice between either pushing or going for a Shrunken Head. I personally always prefer the Shrunken Head. It's just my choice. But it's dependent on the game. Like in this game I can definitely see why he would get the Bulwark, because we got the Tempest minions and the Forsaken Archer. And even the Pyromancer, all of which are great pushing heroes, and you can abuse that pushing potential. By the way, yet again killing the creeps outside of their camp. Just to maybe try and, yes, get them to spawn again. But this one was, again, too close. Talking about that, let's just quickly go to something else. This is something I looked up in the forums. Yeah. So I'm just gonna have to... here we go. So that's just maybe a little bit... Oh, where did it go? Oh, here we go. No, I actually, yeah, here we go. This is the thread. Sorry for that, I kind of failed with it. I thought I still had the tab open. Yeah, anyways, here we go. These are the boxes for the camps. And let's just kind of zoom in right here. So these are the boxes where the creeps are gonna spawn if nothing is in the area. And as you can see, these are actually not that big, but they are big enough to kind of where he fails. Like here you can see that he kind of, yeah, missed that early on. And here we go. If we just go into the game, we can see that this minion, yeah, it's inside of that area, but you can use that. We can use that. We know how to use it now, and we know how big the hitbox is, or the, not exactly the hitbox, but the box for the creeps, which is very, oh my, here we go. I have not used XSplit in a very long time. I'm really sorry for that. But this is where you can use that knowledge to kind of kill them outside of that area and get them to spawn. As I already mentioned, it kind of failed here and early on as well. But if done correctly, it kind of gives you additional farm, which we, all of us, like farm. At least that's what I hope. But we're now gonna go outside of Warbeast mission because I kind of already talked about everything I wanted to talk about during the chunking phase. And here we go, he's gonna start pushing now, using the Tempest minions as well. And the defensive tower is most likely gonna drop. Tempest gonna get initiated up and gonna go down instantly though. Now Pyromancer try putting in get silenced by the Dark Lady though. And here we go, this is the problem I was talking about. He jumped in, used his ultimate, but his minions, yeah, they are now still putting in a little bit of damage. And they actually managed to get him a kill. But the thing is, he himself, he kind of didn't dare going in there, right there. If he did, he may have been at a very high risk of dying. And he didn't want to take it, which is understandable. But it's kind of like, ugh. Yeah, a shrunken head would have been useful. But here we go, he finishes the bulwark, turns it to offensive right away, which, let me just like explain the theory behind that, because I personally always thought it was obvious, but like a few games ago, someone didn't believe me that an offensive bulwark is always in every single opportunity more effective than a defensive one. So that's why I'm gonna explain it right here anyways. Think about it like this. If you're gonna push a tower, and it's you and maybe 5 creeps versus the tower. If you turn the bulwark to offensive, every single creep of yours is gonna benefit. If you turn the bulwark to defensive, only a single creep of yours is gonna benefit from the armor bonus. Because all the others are not gonna take any damage. So what's the point in having armor if you're not gonna take any damage either way? On the other side, all of your creeps deal damage. So if the enemy tower has less armor, every single one benefits from it. That's the way you have to think about it. This, I know it's kind of an extreme example with the tower, but that's the way it works. That's the way of the game. It's actually the most realistic scenario. So you kind of have to think about it like that. Especially on a hero with minions. Like on Warbeast, if it's a one-on-one scenario with heroes, it's never gonna be a one-on-one scenario because Warbeast has 2 creeps. So it's a 3-on-1 scenario, and the creeps are gonna happen with pushing. By the way, oh, Dark Lady gonna jump in onto the Tempest. Not actually gonna get the kill. Warbeast chasing down the Dark Lady. Don't think he can. Oh, actually, Pyromancer manages to finish her off. No, he's still running around, and here we go. That's the one downside to not having a strong hand. He really wants to go in, but he feels the stunts, he feels the damage. And there's a reason why he does so. Like, there's a good reason why he does so. But it still is, yeah, holding him back. And Luna is gonna drop, and he actually manages to get that kill. And he knows he's kind of low. Luckily enough, he's a Warbeast, and Warbeast is kind of tanky. But he has to fall back right here. And you think about it, if he went in early on, he would be dead by now. Because he only survived at 150 HP. That's not a whole lot. That's not a lot at all. So, yeah. By the way, this is really, really nice. While watching this on Homecast, I was pissed off that they didn't mention it. But he's using the minions to block the Emerald Warden in using the Behemoth Fisher as well. That was amazing. Amazing. And Honkast didn't mention it. I was so angry. Well, no, I wasn't. I really didn't give a fuck. But it was like, oh, mention it. Like, come on. That was amazing. It didn't matter, but it was amazing. If it had mattered, that would... Oh my god. Anyways, he's now going for the Shrunken Head, which is, of course, the obvious choice. The Mighty Blade pickup already. And you really want to get the Shrunken Head. Like, you could see it in that fight. He really wanted to go in right there. But he kind of couldn't. If he did his best and he put out quite a bit of damage if you go into the damage chart. He is at 7%. It's not high. But he did put out some. Well, the damage chart is useless anyways. I still think they should rework it so there's an option for damage. Hero damage during the last 5 minutes. I want that option. There really is no point to having hero damage over the course of the game, because a hero like Emerald Warden, a hero like Thunderbringer, a hero like Pharaoh is always going to be at the top. A hero like Pyromancer always going to be at the top. But that's mostly because of their constant harassment. A hero like Dark Lady, she's not gonna have a lot of damage, but that's because she didn't deal a lot of damage during the laning phase. A hero like Warbeast, he was in a jungle during the laning phase. Really, how was he supposed to put out damage during that? So, that's why I think it's kind of useless to have this hero damage chart without having a hero damage chart that's like hero damage in the last 5 minutes. By the way, Kongo works the same way the other minions do. So if you have 3 units in range for his AoE ability, he's gonna use it. If there are only 2, he's not gonna use it. Which is why you're gonna see Warbeast send 1 wolf away and try to take down Kongo with only a single wolf. So yeah. But I think he can. Either he can already finish this, or I can't go. It's bugged. For some odd reason, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. I really want to go into player vision, but I can't. So, oh well. Maybe he does already have the Shrunken Head. I don't think so. I don't think so. His farm is amazing. It's 380 GPM. We go into GPM chart. He's the highest in the entire game. Which is crazy considering it's a Warbeast. Like, no, it's not actually crazy considering it's a Warbeast, but the impressive thing about that is Warbeast is usually, if you see a Warbeast in pub games, he usually is the hero that is kind of low at the start in GPM, like 150, maybe 200, around that, and really doesn't go up there until like the 25-minute mark, and then just skyrockets. Same for Legionary, but here you can see it. You only use a single minion to tank Kongo, and yeah, kind of avoid the AoE Kongo can use, because it actually deals a significant amount of damage. But doesn't look like he already has the war. Now he's gonna pick it up pretty soon. Or he can pick it up already, so oh well. Oh, team fight in the mid lane. Bubba's gonna jump in on the Pyro. Oh my god, that's crazy. But here we go yet again. Warbeast running in. But he really can't do anything. Yes, of course, it's kind of 1v5. But still, he couldn't do anything. With a Shrunken Head, he would have gotten at least 1 kill. Which is kind of what you expect. If you take a look at a carry hero that's at 400 GPM, no, 375. If he goes in like crazy and, let's say, a suicidal mission, kind of expect him to get 1 kill and then die. He kind of survived, but he didn't even do anything. He just got frozen, took a lot of damage, and then run away, not having any reason or point to it. So yeah. Meantime, Forsaken Archer takes at the top tower, and Warbeast just comes back to jungling. Like, I already explained everything I wanted to explain about jungling, so we're just gonna like watch the game and yeah, talk about items and such from now on. But Warbeast, I think he can afford Shrunken Head pretty soon. Like only 200 gold away. And Shrunken Head, of course, is the obvious and good choice in this game. Obviously. Because it's an obvious and good choice. You've already seen why it is, so. Oh well. And I wouldn't be surprised if it goes for Sheepbaker maybe afterwards. Or just finishes his demonic. Like, that's a great choice as well. Gives a little bit more attack speed to his minions, which is useful. And they don't attack too fast. They do it pretty quickly. Attack cooldown is 1 second. So if he gets the demonic, that's gonna boost it up just a little bit and increase their DPS. But a Sheepbaker, of course, is pretty useful as well. Shrunken Head, now finished then. I think they should maybe try to go for Congo. Yeah. Really, I think I explained everything I wanted to explain about Warbeast, about the hero. I don't know. I think I did. And yeah, so right now I'm just waiting for the game to kind of finish, if I'm honest. Oh, Emerald 1 gonna use the wolves to scout it out, and here we go. Warbeast already taking a lot of pressure. Forsaken Archer coming in, but an illusion of Forsaken Archer coming in. But I guess that's something. Talking about Forsaken Archer, I hate Ghost Marchers on Forsaken Archer. They are so bad, don't get it. Anyways. Pyromancer now also finished a Shrunken Head. That's a great choice. Like, Shrunken Head, amazing! Especially going up against a team like this. Pyromancer, Glaciers, and Luna, even Emerald One, Dark Lady. Yes, especially Dark Lady. Like, not, yes, Dark Lady, but especially Dark Lady. As a Pyromancer, you need a Shrunken Head if you're going up against a Dark Lady, for the sole reason that it stops the silence. And that's the one thing Dark Lady has going for her. Like, the silence is amazing going up against any hero that kind of casts a lot, like Pyromancer. So, like, you get the point. Oh, Dark Lady is actually invisible. Power Throw coming out, putting up a little bit more pressure onto Tempest. Warbeast jumps in onto Warbeast. Warbeast activates the Shrunken Head. I don't. Yeah, here we go. He's gonna chase down the Luna. Luna's gonna probably go. No, where did she go? She kind of vanished. Warbeast is just trolling around. But as you can see, he's playing very defensive. He tried charging in with his Shrunken Head on, but as soon as it wore off, he was like, oh, it's not good news. But luckily enough, his team destroyed the Legion side while he was chasing them away. Which is actually, I think it was, he deserves some credit in that fight. Because it may have looked like he didn't do a whole lot, which just may be true. Because all he did was kind of chase away the Luna. But he also stopped Glaciers from going in that fight. He stopped Luna from pretty much doing anything at all. And he took out Emerald 1. So, it wasn't the worst way it could have gone. And I actually think it was pretty decent. So, yeah, you've got to think about it like this. What would have happened if he hadn't gone in right like that? If he maybe would have chased after the Dark Lady? What would have happened? They probably would have won either way, because like their farm is just superior in every single aspect. They are leading by so much. But yeah. So it's gonna be interesting what he goes for next. As I already mentioned, there are a few choices. Maybe even Incendiaries, though it's kind of late for that. That's more of an early style item because it's pretty cheap and gives a lot. So like it has great cost to efficiency like ratio. It's pretty cost efficient. I think that's what I'm looking for on the board. Anyways. Yeah. And here we go. He already wants to take out Congo yet again. Luckily enough, Congo is balanced, unlike Russia. So, yeah. Just to kind of grow 12 on the door. I'm kind of surprised that Tempest doesn't have anything. It's 180 GPM, which is surprising considering it's a Tempest. Tempest usually has a lot of harm. By the way, Shrunken Head activated, and oh my god, yeah, that's game over right here. They just destroyed them. And this is what I'm talking about. Shrunken Head, amazing. Great item. And Event 1 is coming up. Also, another great thing about Warbeast, which a lot of players don't consider, is that his ultimate is unit walking, which is so helpful during team fights. Like, it's so great. So great. But we are gonna stop right here. And just because this game is just gonna finish up, and if we disconnect from the game, we can just take a look at the match stats. And here we go. We can see that he picked up a Shipbreaker and a Demonic. I don't know which order, but either order is fine. I personally would have gone for the Shipbreaker just because I felt like he kind of lacked the damage to insta-kill anyone. And you really kind of want to do that. But that's not the point. I hope you enjoyed this video. It actually worked. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I know it will. I kind of tried to make it informative, but I don't even know if it actually was. If you did like the video, please like it. Like, thumbs up. That would be helpful. And if you're new to the channel, maybe subscribe. Like, and leave me a comment if you want me to do more of these. Because right now I'm kind of trying to figure out what you guys actually want. Because I can't give you noobs online, I literally can't, because it's nothing I can do on my own. And yeah, so maybe you guys like stuff like that. I can do these on a regular basis. That's not it. It's a little bit more work because I have to watch the replays and look replays up and think about topics and stuff like that. But I can still do them on a regular basis, so maybe you are interested in that. But I hope you liked the video and see you next time.